Okay, hello and welcome back to Total English Lessons. This week looking at the British Post Office scandal. The third and final lesson today will be a bit of grammar looking at the passive voice, past simple and present perfect. So now that you know the story, I've just got a couple of questions for you. Did the sub-postmasters, the victims, do anything wrong? And were wrongful or bad things done to them? Just pause the video and think about those questions. So if you've watched the other two videos, you know, of course, no, they didn't do anything wrong, and yes, bad things were done to them. And this is when we're going to use the passive, when actions are done to the subject. For example, in 1999, the new IT system was implemented. Generally, I say to students, you're more likely to use this with things or objects because things like a house don't do actions. Actions are done to them, but we do also use it with people. In this case, when things, bad things often, happen to them. And we're also going to use it when the subject is more important, or who or what does the action is either unknown or not important. So the structure of any passive sentence is going to be subject, verb to be, V3, past participle. And if you want to change the tense, you just change the verb to be. Here, we're going to look at past simple passive. So was, were, either it's something finished or a long time ago, and present perfect passive, has, have, been, either something which is unfinished or still ongoing, or as we'll see, for more recent things. Sometimes there's some overlap, and we'll look at when that might be. So for a bit of practice, here I've got 6 subjects from the story that you have to match with the actions at the top. Do that and then make a passive sentence with either the verb be in the past form, was, were, or present perfect, has, have, been, and the appropriate past participle. The first one I'll do for you. About 3,500 sub-postmasters were wrongfully accused of stealing missing funds. Have a go at the other 5. And then well done if you said about 900 of those people were prosecuted. This no longer happens, so it's finished. Use the past simple. And 236 of those people were sent to prison. Up until now, so still ongoing, unfinished, use present perfect, £138 million in compensation has been paid out. Has been paid to the victims, but only 93 convictions have been overturned. The legal decision has been reversed. And finally, a documentary, podcast, and TV miniseries have been made about the story. Here, because it's recent, it's better to use the present perfect. In 20 years, it will be a long time ago, so it would be better to say were made about the story. So hopefully you got most or all of those correct. If you'd like some more practice, on the Patreon page, there's a PDF with some Cambridge First style transformations. Students often find passive quite difficult, make mistakes, so do take advantage of some extra practice. So anyway, that's basically it for this block of lessons, this story. I've just got some final questions for you to think about. What's your overall impression of this story? How have you felt when you've heard different parts of it? Do you think anything similar could happen in your country? Do you think everyone will receive compensation or justice? And how do you think those in charge should be held to account? How should they be made to be responsible for their actions? So go over to the Patreon page and maybe discuss those questions. I'm interested to hear what you have to think. Other than that, I hope to see you next week as a Patreon member for my next lesson on Scott's expedition to the Antarctic. We'll look at vocabulary related to the cold, a reading on the story, and a bit of practice on third conditional, looking at how things could have been different. I hope to see you then. So until next time, see ya.